Right, I think we're live. Hello. How is everybody doing? How's things? How's life? How's the universe? How has your week been? What's everybody been up to this week? How are we doing? Hello. Hello to those watching on the VOD. How are you doing? How's things? I have a Duolingo looking pop-up on weird on Twitch. Okay. Hello. Hello, Jim, and hello, John, who may or may not be here. How you guys doing? How's things? Is it? Yeah, it is basically now. I can't be bothered to wait to make that joke. How you doing? How's things? How's everybody doing? Oh yeah, I have a laptop here. I'll talk more about that later. Not sponsored or anything. It's in for review. I just started setting it up while I was eh, subsisting today. And yeah, it's a Snapdragon chip, which is interesting, which is why I said yes to it. A Snapdragon X Plus. So I'm here to learn with you about this because I only got it. I only turned it on like 3 hours ago. uh, oh yeah, thank you to everyone who entered the giveaway, and congratulations to Simon, who will hopefully make an appearance today. Um, we had some fun with the shipping, like DPD shipping it. They managed to bend the CPU cooler, which is mighty impressive. And actually, so DPD were the ones who shipped it, but DPD also shipped this, and I was home when they delivered it. Except instead of like ringing the bell, like the doorbell, or knocking on the door or anything, they just dropped it over my 6 foot garden fence, which is great. Hello, Egyptian Savage. How you doing? How's things? How has your week been? Um, is that a Spock hand? Yeah. Okay. Hello, John. Um, no, that is well, yeah. Um, I was doing this the other day with my wife. Anyway, yeah. How's everybody? How is everybody doing? I didn't know that that was an emoji, but yeah. Hello, Chris. How you doing, man? How's things? Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. Four, 14 months. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. I must admit that it's been a rather tough week, and today has been a rather tough day. So I apologize for the let's say lack of energy, but yeah, tough. Um, yeah. I'm getting a new car. Nice. What are you getting? One of the many things that went wrong today was I was out at an appointment, and I park in a Sainsbury's car park to be able to. Thank you, Chris. Um, to be able to get to the appointment. Um, and the Sainsbury's has a petrol station, and the petrol station is 2 pence per litre cheaper than my usual one. Um, because so I was gonna fill up. I pulled in, and then I went to open my fuel filler cap, and it wouldn't open. Audi A4s, especially the B8s, have a locking fuel filler cap that you like click in. It's like one of those like cabinet doors where you push it in to unlock it, like, and then it pops open. Um, Mine would not unlock no matter what I did. Um, I didn't realize that there was a pull tab on the inside of the car, like in the boot, that you could get to fairly easily. So I ended up having to just drive away. Luckily, I had enough fuel to get home, and I have enough fuel for like I need to go to the doctor's tomorrow, um, so I can fill up, my local petrol station. Um, but yeah, it's annoying that that's broken. I've ordered a new one from Audi. I'll go pick it up on Monday. And I'll just, if it continues to not work, I'll just use the pull tab because that's manual release. That works great. Um, but yeah, that's just one of the things that went wrong today. Um, the Mark 1 Volvo V70 comes with an electric release with a switch on the driver's door card. I have to imagine that that goes wrong. Because mine is technically electric release as well, because it's locking. Like there's the locking like tab or solenoid, whatever in it that means that it won't unlock if whatever. 28-year car never failed. Well, fair enough. Nice. Mine did. Mine's 12 years old and failed. To be fair, it has been making noises for quite a while. Um, so I'm not that surprised that it failed. It's just annoying. A, that it failed at all, B, that it failed at the petrol station, and C, that it failed and I didn't realize there was a manual override I could have used that was fairly easily accessible. So yeah. Um Luckily the replacement part from Audi is only £34. So yeah. Hello Simon, hello Tammy. How you guys doing? It's Chinese, it's called a Bake X7. I think I know of that already. I I am perhaps a little suspicious at the quality of those vehicles at times, from seeing and hearing a mini horror story. Uh, but fair enough. Hope you enjoy it. Um, See, on a BMW that would never happen. You're right. It wouldn't be £34. It would be 400. Your boot lock would die instead. That too. The boot lock that you need to be able to get into the battery, but the battery's flat. You can't. Yeah. Um, I've been debating restructuring uh my loan to buy an E36 328i Touring. Incredibly silly, but I want it. Yes, that is incredibly silly, especially because like a 328i, really? I mean, like, I guess, but really? The V50 had a button on the dash. Mazda 6 was in the footwell next to the bonnet release. Fair. What happened to my car? The fuel filler door lock broke while I tried to fill up. And I didn't realize that there was a manual override, like pull tab on in the boot that I could use. So I had to drive home with little fuel. It's fine. It's not that big a deal. It's one of the many things that went wrong today and why today was tough. Um, it's Quality is really good. It's a flagship car. It was 1.5 million. I assume that's not in dollars. Um, you can get pretty good cars for under 10K, like a C6 Corvette. I mean, nice. Uh, you're you're left-hand drive over there, aren't you? Because being in the UK and being right-hand drive means that we have a very limited selection of import cars that actually kind of like work for the roads. Some people do import American cars. I've seen a couple of C8 Corvettes around here. Um, there's a couple of like people with like Ram 1500s. There's one F 350 Julie or whatever. But generally speaking, we don't really get um, much. Uh, we get a lot of Japanese imports, though. The point is stuff like what you call it? Stuff like a C6 Corvette would not likely be that cheap here. Seeing as I have a perfectly functioning Freelander 2 right now, not fun, but it's on loan from my sister, so cost bugger all. Fair enough. Wait, so do you still have the V50? Or did you sell that to get the Mazda 6? I can't keep track of your car history. You got a V70R? The um the MGB. What else do you have? Oh, okay, so right. So you're technically your only personally owned car is the MGB. Got it. I mean, terrible idea, but fair enough. Um, hello, Ish. How you doing, man? How's things? Did you watch the video from Brody and Primogen, etc., about how a learning Git video from Apna School is teaching Indians how to submit /spam readme PRs on Express.js Git repo? I didn't. That's not great. As someone who is runs a couple of open source like GitHub repositories and has at least attempted to contribute to multiple GitHub repositories or projects, although I tend to get left on red for quite a lot of it, is yeah, that's not great. Uh, Hello, Ish. You look not dead, like almost living and well, not healthy, but looking relatively well. Um, I'm putting on a brave face. Uh, I think I'm having an allergic reaction to my asthma inhaler, which is causing me to have stomach ulcer like pains, which is really horrible. Um, uh, yeah, my car's fuel filler cap didn't work when I tried to fill it up, and I've had to buy a new part. The system that we shipped to Simon wasn't working when it arrived and had been damaged in shipping, so there was that. Um, I've been designing a PCB for someone, and I sent him the prototype one, and he couldn't get it to work despite it working for me when I had it here. Um, and other stuff I've probably forgotten. Um, I'm in lots of pain. Oh yeah, my knee bent like that way last night, so it's back to hurting again, which sucks ass. I was doing weights and now I can't straighten my arm out. Uh, that's great. I'm just not doing well. Um, yeah, no. What's my dream car? kind of have it already. The Audi S4 Avant specifically. I have never really cared for um super and hypercars. Like, I am obviously very interested in them, and especially in the Top Gear days, they really sold some of them. Um, I had a picture of a Ferrari Enzo, which is an F60 technically, like on my on my bedroom wall. Um, Although I always thought it needed a wing at the back. Anyway, um, so like that, but uh as I became car owning age, I really wanted a Nissan GTR. The tunability, the power, the all-wheel drive, the sort of like everydayness of a sort of super sports car kind of thing, um, just was really cool. And then I drove an Audi S4. Specifically, it was a tuned one, so it was like 500 horsepower. And I was like, oh, so this is still like um, what you call it? Forced induction 3 liter V6 with a DSG gearbox and a really good all-wheel drive system. But it's also an estate that you can put stuff in and use every day, and it isn't 30-40 grand. So I bought one, and I have been very happy with it since. The thing is that like I this sounds strange, but I don't uh like being perceived, which is a strange thing to say while being perceived on camera, but I don't know, it's a bit weird. So the idea of driving around in a supercar just makes me feel uncomfortable. So yeah, having a very fast, you know, uh, everyday car that I also don't mind, driving everywhere, racking up miles on, all that sort of stuff. Um, yeah. Uh, Yours is the F80. Uh, Fair enough. Fair enough. Is that the one with the monobrow? I must admit that I really don't like Ferrari's current design aesthetic of the monobrow. um, so what you're really saying is you should have stayed in bed. Uh, no, because being self-employed, you still someone's got to do all the work. If I had unlimited money, I'd probably get a Carrera GT. I wouldn't survive long, but it'd be worth it for the V10. Fair enough. Um, I have driven a Gallardo, uh, LP 540, I think. And it was nice. It was like nice sound. I've actually driven an Audi R8 V10 Plus. Beautiful sound. I enjoyed the Porsche Carrera T way more. Only 384 horsepower by comparison, rear-wheel drive, if I remember rightly, but 7-speed manual, and just a really nice like connection to the road. It was wonderful. Um, what's my favorite sounding car? Um, I al- I am a bit weird. So I mean, a V10 or a V12 is the short answer. But also I don't like how most aftermarket exhausts sound. I hate loud sounds in general. Autistic. So yeah, most aftermarket exhausts make it considerably louder, and I really don't like that. So, um, yeah, V10 or V12. High revving V10 or V12. Have you considered creating TechteamGB Neuralink and just put your degrading meat sack into an iron lung, then live vicariously through the various Spot, Atlas, MQ9 Reaper drones? No, because my brain's broken too. Uh, what did I miss? Oh, yeah, I see. Hey, do man, who sings? Also, wife approval factor too. What, for the car or for the iron lung? Because yes, I mean to the iron lung. The car, I can have whatever I want. Um, if we're dreaming one at a garage, lounging, luxury cars for relaxed driving, intense sports cars for tearing up roads, and motorbikes for when feeling spicy and taking your life in your hands. That I can agree with. In fact, I do actually want uh in fact, I'm quite likely to buy another motorbike at the start of next year once I get the garage in the end. Um, I'm thinking Versus 650. I've been busy. You? Um, I yes, been busy. Also, my body is falling apart and I'm not handling it well. Um, if we're dreaming one a virtual world that you can be transported into Electron, uh, the thing about most virtual worlds that we've described in media is that they're all dystopias. Like, um, the whole idea of a metaverse is laughable to me because metaverses are often discussed as, well, it will be like Ready Player One. Do you not understand that Ready Player One was a dystopia? Like it was really bad for everyone. You're telling me the Emoji Movie is a dystopia? Yes. Virtual worlds are advertised as Tron, but end up as Meta VR. Yes. So is the real world dystopia? Yes. I mean, yes, it is. But if one company controls the entire world, like literally everything, you're not just screwed. There's no point. Virtual worlds peaked on the Wii. I agree, actually. um, Speaking of dystopia, have you played Expedition 33? I'm afraid I haven't. I've not really had much time for video games. The only game that I've played recently is the new Skate, um, which is, considering I've played Skate 3 multiple times, both on my desktop and on the Steam Deck through emulation. Emulation's wonderful. Um, I don't know. It's fun enough. Uh, you mean when, not if? Yeah, maybe three companies. An oligopoly, sure. Skate kind of annoyed me. I'd rather play Skate 3. Yeah, kind of the same. Uh, yeah. Oh yeah, right. Question. Um, no, I didn't give money to Ubisoft. First of all, I think isn't Skate an EA game, and second, it's free to play. Um, I have a laptop. This is a I can show you the logo. it is a Snapdragon chip that runs Windows. What do you want to know? Because I only like powered this on 3 hours ago. I have installed a couple of things. I have run a couple of little benchmarks while I was, whatever. No worries, Egyptian Savage. Have a good night. But amazingly, it does in fact run DirectX games. This is Smooth Frog from Aperture Grow. And it runs like this is running DirectX. This is an Unreal Engine 4 or 5 like game basically, and it's running it. I was able to install my own software, the response time tool, which apparently needs an update. Lol. Yeah. It's Windows for ARM, ARM 64. So like, what would you want to see me run on it in the review? Because obviously, like, I'm gonna run my usual test suite as much as I can, etc. But yeah, what would you want to see? It is a what do you call it? A like thin and light laptop. So yeah, it's not a gaming machine or anything. Did you make a UFO Blurbuster clone? I didn't. Aperture Grill did, and it's amazing. It's really performant, which is fantastic. Like, I've just tested a 610 hertz monitor, and it was easy to run at 610 hertz with that. And it has a whole bunch of extra features. It's just it's fantastic, and I highly recommend it. It's free to download and run. It's wonderful. Yeah. I just treat it exactly like you would any other laptop until something doesn't work. That is kind of the plan, yes, but I was asking if you have any specific things that you think would matter to you to see do or don't work with this. Because the fact that it can run DirectX stuff is already kind of amazing for me. But yeah, what would you want to see? It wasn't Ubisoft, it was EA that was bought out. Ish. Apparently, suspicious circumstances. Doom, can it run Doom? Yeah. Well, Resume from Sleep Hibernate is amazing, so it's on, right? Let's give it a sec to, power down. Yeah. Oh, this means it's AI, by the way. An AI PC, according to Acer. Yeah, right, ready? Instant. Also, there's a like AI thing. This lights up on the trackpad when it's doing AI things. I don't know what that means. Yeah. The instantaneous read of battery life. Ooh. 92%, 5 hours and 38 minutes remaining, apparently. I believe it was on sleep, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Is it a Snapdragon CPU? Yes, it's a Snapdragon X Plus 8 core. Can I tell you any more? It's a X1P42100 Qualcomm Orion CPU. 8 cores, 3.24 gigahertz base speed, although it's currently running at anywhere between 0.9 and 1.6. At work I use Edge, Chrome, Outlook, Notepad++, and Putty. If they work, the chip doesn't matter. Yeah. Did Snapdragon fix their laptop compatibility issue? So, from what I can tell, Yes, I mean it was running a DirectX app, like with no problem. So yeah, it's an Adreno X1-45 GPU. Interested? With 128 megabytes of video memory. Um, fair enough, yeah. I'll have a listen when I can. What's the latest cool project you're working on in Home Assistant? Um, I as of this very moment, it's just keeping it. Everything is running nicely. I do want to uh do a bit more on, especially using the Sonos Zigbee relays to control stuff. I need to fit an extraction fan in the bathroom, so I want to power it from one of those relays so that I can uh, control it remotely and like control it automatically through a temperature and humidity sensor in the bathroom or something. Um, but yeah, for the most part, right now, um, I'm barely keeping up with living. So extra projects, uh, difficult. Uh, AI core. Huh. Can you run like comfy UI and generate some VTuber anime titties? um. Oh, okay. So if you press the Copilot button, the thing lights up. See, see. Uh, which seems like it just opens ChatGPT or whatever. I guess Copilot. Um. Yep. You can do quick response, think deeper, GPT-5, or deep research. You don't even have to sign in. Why? Why? Anyway, yes. There you go. Can it run Crisis? Almost certainly not. But probably not because it's ARM, probably because it's low power. Because it's a thin line. Is it a loaner unit? Yes, basically everything that you see on the channel that I haven't personally bought is a loaner unit. It's rare for me to keep stuff. Especially these days. Like 5 or so years ago, the majority of stuff, unless it was like really big ticket, like laptops or maybe displays, was all just like, here, have this. But nowadays, I guess in the post-COVID world, supplies seem to be a lot more limited, and so it's like, okay, you can have this for 1 or 2 weeks, and then we need it back. Um, which isn't necessarily a problem. It's just something interesting. 25H2, I believe so. Yeah. Um, no, 24H2. Yeah. I've been trying to do updates, but it is breaking. Yeah. Are there any dictation models that runs on it? Honestly, no idea. Um, the first time that I've ever pressed a Copilot button and looked at whatever Microsoft Copilot is was just then. You saw me do it. Um, update it and see if it makes the performance and compatibility any better than it already is. My only option for a direct update apparently is still 24H2. Update is not giving me an option for 25H2. Have I integrated AI into my Home Assistant? I do have a Home Assistant voice. So technically yes, although to be honest, I really don't use it that much. Um, because I have buttons for stuff, and it turns out that just being able to just press a single button and do whatever it is you want it to do is much more effective than saying, okay, okay Nabu, and then wait for it to hear you, and then say, turn on the living room light and turn on the bedroom light or whatever. And then it takes 10 seconds to process it, and then maybe it does it, but most of the time it goes, I don't know what you mean, please say it again. Um, yeah. Wait, you remember COVID, you wee laddie? I mean, yes. Uh, I'm ill. I I didn't fancy dying from that. Uh, so yeah, that was a fun time. Um, home automation technology peaked at the clapper. Oh dear. In fact, I'm getting another jab for that next week. Uh, can you get the ARM 25H2 ISO from the Microsoft website? I probably could. However, Acer's support website is trash. I tried to look up the drivers for this thing because one of the updates that is failing to install is the BIOS. Like, it's failing to install the BIOS, and if I was like, okay, well, I'll just go to Acer's website, download the BIOS, and update it, right? No, 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 I can't find it. So yeah, I don't really fancy fresh installing the OS on this thing for fear of bricking it, which is something I should probably mention in the video. Uh, Xiaomi car thoughts. I have only really briefly seen little bits about it, so I don't have that many thoughts on it because I don't really know that much about it. Um, I'm not entirely opposed to uh, a brand like Xiaomi making a car. Am I right in vaguely remembering that Xiaomi isn't the one actually making it? It's someone else that they're sort of partnering with. Like, it's their own car, but it's being built by BYD or someone. Am I right in remembering vaguely that? Uh, have AI AC, but I never use its app or any AI command. Fair. Um, but you could update 25H2 from mounting the ISO and running the setup from within 24H2. Um, would that not just fresh install though, rather than update? Um, uh, interesting. Well, once I've done all of my expected testing, I'll give that a go. Maybe. Yeah, it goes. Have I met Lewis Barkley from Everything Smart Home? I'm afraid I haven't. I don't leave the house much. You're getting the full Snapdragon experience. This is the same frustration a lot of devs porting their software to ARM from x86 are suffering. Well, the thing is that, like, so my software runs on this. Like, my response time tool software just worked, TM. Like, this is not ported for ARM, and it just works. And, like, the fact that Smooth Frog runs, which is an Unreal Engine program, like, the fact that this works is pretty incredible to me right now. like just off the face, you know, off the back kind of thing. So yeah. Ba, 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 ba. What's the standard for laptops now? 8 gig of RAM or 16 is SSD standard? SSD, yes. 8 gig of RAM for really budget machines, yeah. This has 16, and I think 16 is getting pretty common, especially for gaming machines. I think 16 is almost the minimum you'll find these days. Uh, ba, ba, ba. Not knocking loners, it's good to get a tech interview. It is indeed. That's pretty cool. Something like Apple's early translation layer, when they went into ARM. Yeah, Rosetta. Um, I'm definitely gonna be interested to test this out more. Like I said, I only turned this on 3 hours ago, and I'm not planning on actually like doing the full video uh, for another week or two, depending. Um, so I have plenty of time to play with this and um, see what it does and what it doesn't. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Is webcam good? Apparently it's 1440p. That doesn't necessarily mean it's any good. It does have a sliding like physical privacy cover, which is kind of nice. It looks like an absolute little pinhole thing. I mean, let me install OBS and I'll find out. Am I on Twitch? Yes, I'm currently streaming on Twitch actually. Dual streaming. Where's OBS? Oh, it's not in this. It's on my portable SSD. Do next week stream from the laptop's webcam. OBS. What do you think of Qualcomm buying Arduino? I have some very mixed feelings about it. I'm actually mostly not happy about it. Like, big company buys small-ish, like open source project. Normally that means that things are going to get a lot more expensive. With less support and, oh, sorry, we can't support this anymore because, that's just too expensive to support now. Or, oh, sorry, we can't do this. Or, oh, no, prices of these are going to have to go up. Oh, we have, like, the fact that Arduino launched the, is it like the Uno Q, was it? Which is sort of Raspberry Pi competitor type thing. Feels very against the ethos of Arduino being little microcontrollers. But I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. Okay. I'm looking at the webcam. Actually, not that bad. Let me change the settings. Come on. It's really hard to balance a laptop on like the tip of your knee and then try and use the trackpad well. I mean, it's still like, even in this really like good lighting, it's still it's pretty sharp, but it's not the best quality still. It's purified view. Ooh. Oh my god. And then I've got like sharpness settings, but that just makes it so grainy. Ugh. No. And purified view has some really horrible connotations behind it. No, thank you. Yeesh. Yikes. Go away. Anyway, is it expandable or is the RAM maxed out? I'm almost certain that it's not expandable, although, like I said, I turned it on 3 hours ago. I have not had it apart or anything yet. We'll find out. You have webcam with motion blur and film grain on by default. I mean, kinda, yeah. So not smartphone quality then. Yeah, no, it's not. It's definitely not like front-facing camera quality. I mean, like the chin bar isn't that thick, you know. Is that the Throne laptop? Hello, Simon. Yes, it is. It's working. I'm not bent, unlike your CPU cooler. The camera is more like fancy potatoes, not instant smash potatoes. Yes, it's better than usual, but that's a very low bar. As a general thought, what do you think of Lexus sedan? Forgot the name as daily driver. I'm in an iX like 200, an iX 350, whatever, or an iX. It's not the worst decision in the world. It is. It depends on the model, depends on the engine, depends on the service. IS Alice, thank you. Yeah, it still very much depends. Oh, Copilot crap opened. There is a talk to Copilot option. I think it was Tammy who was asking. And a share screen with Copilot. Ooh. Oh no. It won't close. Or did it just open like 17 times? Arduinos did seem like capable but less generic little boards, not pretend general purpose machines like Pi's want to be. Well, the joy of Arduino is not just the boards itself, but the support. They made it so that for at least the approved list of microcontrollers, you can just write some basic code, click upload, and it just works. I cannot describe just how much of a massive pain in the ass it is to write code for a microcontroller that isn't supported by the Arduino IDE. Like you need to do so much work just to get them to like function. Like a lot of the microcontrollers, you need to write a bootloader and flash that first before even being able to write any code to it. Like without all of that work done for you by Arduino and Adafruit and SparkFun, I wouldn't be able to make the tools that I make. As just a straight off the cuff example, like it's so much work, and I'm so glad that you know someone else has done it for me. So yeah, that's the like the magic that Arduino, the Arduino as a platform brought. It's a very open platform as well. What do you think of another replacement or option in that price tag? Disclaimer: it's from an older father who needs comfort. I mean, if you're after comfort, like Lexuses are kind of known for that. So, Yeah, that seems like a decent option. The only other options that generally come up in the comfort class are SUVs, and I get it, but I hate it. I think like the irony is SUVs do have a place for pensioners who don't want to step down into cars. Um, and if that was what they were for, I'd have a lot less problem with it. But the fact that every single car on the road is now an SUV, unlike cars that were low and sporty and fun, are now tall and like roll risks and really disconnected. And it's like, bruh. It doesn't run recall, does it? I don't believe so. If I type in recall, nothing happens, so. I got a 6 terabyte NAS drives for £45 each. Just sold two for £72.50 each. Nice. XC70 is not an SUV, but comfy and practical. Yeah, but it's an SUV-ized version. Like, it's a taller version. I mean, it's fine, whatever. But I don't like it either. It's an Audi all-road. Need I say more? Yeah. So was the Audi all-road. Did they do an A4 all-road? They did, didn't they? They did an A4 and an A6. Yeah. Um. I'm still in love with the Stinger. Give me the new one. Nice. Soccer mums need SUV to park outside the school gates for 4 hours a day. I guess if you got nothing better to do. Then this week I got 4 8 terabyte hard drives for 150, so I'm selling the 6 terabytes. Nice. Rate must grow. The seller even drove 20 miles-ish at no extra cost to drop them off. Well, that's nice. uh, Considering I saw a Toyota Yaris Cross, I think looks like someone overinflated a car and blew it up bigger. Yes, I saw. In fact, it was labeled as a GR version of the like Yaris Cross. It was. Uh, Wendell did a video on his tour of an Intel fab. He was hinting at some very interesting things that he spotted that he was kindly asked not to mention right now. I wonder what he saw. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Um, I know that the I think we should be expecting a new set of Intel CPUs at some point soon. Although when I say new, I believe they're a refresh of Arrow Lake. Yeah, that's the word. The Core Ultra 200. So yeah, maybe it's gen after. Maybe it was a high-end AEV machine. Should I buy a 4 terabyte Skyhawk or Barracuda? Skyhawk is cheaper. Both are fine. Skyhawk is WD's NAS drive, or DVR, like security camera. So basically, it's meant to be run 24/7 and written to 24/7. So, oh wait, Skyhawk is oh, of course, WD is purple, right? Seagate's CCTV drive. Did they gimp Skyhawk's burst performance? I mean, quite possibly. What I was getting at is that the Skyhawk is likely potentially more reliable, whereas the Barracuda is potentially more performant. Because the Skyhawk is specifically, like I said, meant to be written to 24/7, but likely not maxing out its data stream, like its bandwidth. So yeah. Skyhawk is a slower drive. Well, there you go. I mean, is it a 5400 RPM drive as well? That wouldn't surprise me. And yeah, lower cache would also make sense for the type of use case that it's expecting. I thought it might have been some AMD CPU silicon production. I know that that's been discussed, but I didn't think that they would have moved that quickly on it. I think Intel will be doing IO dies for AMD. That wouldn't be that surprising either. Although actually, I watched High Yield. That was the channel name. A fantastic video, all about AMD's like basically Zen 6 production, like chiplet design. Because if you look at the AI Max chips, the Strix Halo, they have what is likely to be the Zen 6 die design. So instead of having the chiplets quite physically separated from the I/O die, with relatively few traces between the I/O dies, because they use serial encode and decode chips structures on either side, both in and out. So instead of say a 64-bit bit of data going from the I/O die to one of the chiplets, from memory, whatever, instead of that just being sent over 64 wires into the I/O die, it gets sent over a couple of wires, but one bit at a time, which slows things down, but it's also much more effective. Whereas TSMC's new fan out technology means that they can do direct, 64 wires from the chiplet to the I/O die. And that's what Strix Halo uses, and that's what we're likely to see with with Zen 6. So it will be interesting to see if Intel were to make even the I/O dies, because it would require that TSMC's fan out technology to connect. So yeah. Don't AMD often use Intel networking chips? Networking is up to the board maker, as Lucas says, and that's right. Most of the time, I know that Intel definitely requires board makers to use certain like 2.5 gig NICs or whatever, as an example. But yeah. Talking of Intel tech, I like the new RAID controller chipset on CPU. Can do RAID up to 10 devices from the CPU and even HBA. Nice. That's cool. Um, no worries, Jesse. Thank you very much for popping in. Yeah. Well, if anyone has any last minute thoughts, stick them in here before we head off. Yeah. The 8 TB HDST drives I got are really weird. They have some odd power feature where I have to cover the third SATA power pin with tape or they won't turn on. It is weird. Apparently this ARM laptop has a corrupted Windows installation anyway, which is why it won't do some updates. So I'm running SFC scan now. Thoughts on the reverse engineering of FSR4 onto older RDNA GPUs? As long as it works well, profit, right? I hate artificial limiting of stuff when you don't need to. So yeah, if we can have it on older stuff and it works well, sounds like profit to me. But yeah, right. I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you're new, these are every Thursday night at 8 PM UK time, so feel free to pop back next week. Otherwise, video tomorrow and Monday. And yeah, have a great week. Catch you all, well, next week. And tomorrow for video, Monday for video. Right.